Beijing really is quite a snaky looking track. It's got a wide variety of corners going on, along with some really beefy straights. So this is going to benefit those cars that are rapid around the track, which we are not one of. The smog there really adding quite the marvellous glow to the sunset over the Chinese skyline. And we're going to get prepped. Right, okay, let's, you, Vanessa, show cars add driver. Why have I forgotten how to do this? There we go, marvellous. Right, car set up. Let's have a look and see what we see here. Drivers opting for slightly different tyres. We're going to pay a lot of attention to tyres for this one, because I think that'll be quite useful. Right, we'll keep the downforce right down the middle. Maybe just drop it ever so slightly. There you go. You say you're going to keep it in the middle, then immediately drop it a little bit. When I say drop it, not raise it. There you go. That's it. Let's go for 0.5s here. That should... I don't know. No. We want lower downforce. Lower the downforce a bit. We're going to go... Yeah, we're going to hedge towards the recommendations of our mechanic there. Right, speed balance towards... Yeah. You know what? I'm going to leave that alone. Right, now then, what's the forecast here? Super Soft should do 8 to 10 laps on a 32 lap race, whereas soft tyres will do 12 to 14. Okay. Now then, what is our best bet here? I think we'll end up doing 1 stint on soft tyres and then 2 on super soft. Actually, I think we might end up doing 2 on soft and then 1 on super soft, given that we have been through tyres relatively quickly. So we'll stick with soft tyres, which is a bad idea. What's Hans going to do? That's the question you should always ask yourself. What is Hans 00 going to do? He's going to go with super soft, isn't he? He's just going to make the tyres last. And what are we talking about in terms of speed difference? Not a huge amount, but the reliability is much different. All right, we'll stick you on the. You know what? We're going to be risk averse, I think. Right, let's increase the downforce here. Silvera's mechanic is going. No. Lots of downforce on this one, and then we'll tend towards a bit of understeer. Understeer. There you go. You said the words. Now follow through, and we'll aim towards a bit more top speed. That's an unconventional setup we've got going on there. 8 to 10 laps. So 3 stints on 8 laps, which is what we're going to get out of them, let's face it, is only 24. So we're definitely going to need soft tyres. Soft tyres is the way to go. I don't care what Hans is doing. Hans is going to do what Hans does with his cheating car. We shall just go out. Come on, off you go. Come on, go. And we'll race our race. He can race his, and we'll see what we get out of that. Right, we're gonna bring Vanessa in at the end of the first lap, so that we can keep her out there for as long as possible. Later on, she should get a bit of a feel for what the car's like relatively quickly, one would hope. And she's not too bad at when it comes to giving feedback. So hopefully she'll have figured something out there by the time she reaches the pit lane. Right, so here's the tyre mix that we've got going on. Price and Ruto and Hertz and Shaw. These are the drivers at the top end of the table there. They're all going on the super softs. Meanwhile, downforce great, handling great, speed balance great. Well, that's somewhat unexpected, isn't it? Okay, well, what do you want? Bit more, bit less? So let's just ease it. No, just go by 0.1 and see what we get out of that. So a smidge more downforce. No, you know what? I'm going to leave the rest of it more or less alone. Why mess with it? Get out there and learn something about this track, would you? That would be magical. Go out and thrash it. Go set a lap time. Bjorn, you can come in at the end of this lap. and then we'll see what we can do with the car that you're going to force Hazel to drive. And maybe he drives it well, maybe he doesn't drive it well. It really makes precious little difference at this stage. It'd be nice if he got a result today, but I can't see that happening. So reducing the number of pit stops, I think, is going to be absolutely critical. That's a given. All right, so your downforce is poor. So let's downforce you in the opposite direction here. 25.7. That's a shift and a bit. That is, and then we'll replicate more or less what we've done with Vanessa here. There you go. That's more or less her setup, you know. Although you're already saying that the handling's great, so maybe a little bit less dramatic on the suspension side of things. Right, yep. Everything else is magnifico. Get out there and win the game, if you would be so kind. And we'll go and follow Vanessa, as she's she's not really driving that fast at all. She's barely got her foot on the pedal. So let's stick that on and see what we get. So 00's gone out with the slightly more robust tyre as well. See, I thought he might. And then there's someone ahead of me here who's using my livery effectively. Pack it in. We make the orange and the grey really hum, whereas your orange and dark grey is rubbish. Don't really need to overtake. We're simply talking about putting a lap time in. So there we go. Vanessa is 0.8 of a second, 0.9 effectively behind Hertz. But that's not too bad. Only 0.3 of a second behind Mr. 00. And that's okay. But then, as ever, practice times mean absolutely nothing. Let's see if she can go a little bit faster this time around. The aero setup is way better, says Bjorn Bjelland. Couldn't improve on her time much. That was only the fastest ninth time there that Vanessa could stick in. Bjorn put in an absolute stinker of a time, but that's okay too. We'll bring her in, we'll juice her up, we'll send her back out. She's going to even stick with the same tyres. Look, we'll see how much track knowledge we can inform the young lady of in this race, and then hopefully that will be grand. Right. Oh, look at that! Excellent downforce now. So the downforce is excellent, the acceleration's excellent, and the suspension is great. Great is good enough. We don't need anything more than that. I'll take 2 out of 3. Just fill her up, get her out. Can we not? Just do 6 laps. There we are. Have enough cash to just stay out there for the rest of the session. Although 3 laps would have been plenty. Can we set up the handling how it was before, says Bjorn. Well, Bjorn, we haven't left you with a lot of time to perfect this, but we'll bring you in and see what we can adjust here to make things better for you and your life. Actually, Vanessa, just rinse it. Just murderate the car, and we'll see what we get out of it. 7th overall for Vanessa at the moment. That's okay. She's got the car how she likes it, and that's always a good place to go. Right, what do we got here? So we're only good on downforce, we're only good on handling, and we're excellent on speed balance. Right, okay, so previously we were rocking worse downforce. Well, we knew that. The handling, we need to head towards oversteer quite a bit. All right, and I think we'll get that by adjusting the downward force here. We'll go as far as there, and we'll trend towards the oversteer just a little more, which should do the trick. Yeah, everything's good, everything's great. Go out on the same tyres. It's all fine. Right, okay. Once Bjorn goes out, we'll set him on a, thrash the car kind of an approach. Now, with 1.5 minutes left to go, it looks like Vanessa's easily going to reach the second stage of knowledge here. It would be nice to get a driver at some point who does hammer these practice sessions, so that we might have a few more options when it comes down to race bonuses. But that's okay. So there we go. There was another one. Another lap completed. Just learn the track. That's all I need you to do. Learn the track and be really, really good at it by the time race day rolls around, and then everything will be amazing. Bjorn's loving the handling again, which is nice. But there we go. Vanessa's cooked her tyres. Doesn't really matter. We've unlocked level 2, as expected. They've both got expertise on soft tyres now, and that's also beneficial. So with the practice session over, Vanessa did finish 7th there, so half a second off the pace. That's not so bad. Now the three out front were all sporting the more readily wearable soft tyres. Apparently there's going to be some weather in the race itself, but we'll see how that pans out. There's not a lot we can do to prepare for that anyway. That's just purely going to come down to the getting the timing right for a pit stop. Bjorn finished 16th. Yeah, it's okay. Meanwhile, Shaw, Mush and Longo went out on the softest tyres, and yeah, sucks to be you. So we're looking at the social media, and Edigle Westin is telling me spending less money on helicopters, jacuzzis and more on your cars. Shut it. Sarah Thomas, every time I get a chance to go out on track, I can feel my skills improving. So cool to get to drive out there today. And then the Evening Herald from Arnold Boycott. Nice to see Playmoto getting some track time out there. Everyone gets track time. It's a practice session. I don't know what's going on there. People complaining about not getting track time. Oh, load of nonsense. So it's race day, and it's going to start out dry, and that's not a bad place to start. Whether it's going to stay dry or not remains to be seen. Let's have a quick look at the forecast. It's going to start raining on lap 2. Brilliant. And the water on track... the water on track's going to build up fairly quickly. Right, we're going to start on intermediates. Oh, hello. That's what we have opted to do. Now, part of me says stick one of them out there on really aggressive tyres, bring them in on lap 2 and get them changed over, but they'll lose anything they gain in that. I think everyone's going to go out on intermediate, so we'll stick with that. Right, we're going to take Nurse, obviously, and we'll take the race trim. Why mess around? Answers on a postcard. And then I don't think we're going to be doing anything unusual with Vanessa either. There's so very little choice in the matter, isn't there? You're going to go, yeah, we'll take those two. Yeah, that's fine, I suppose. Right, okay, so the cars are set up reasonably well. The handling and downforce for Nick's car isn't perfect, but then neither is Nick, so that should be absolutely fine. Right, now then, let's stick both of you chaps out on intermediates. Now then, the question is, looking at the forecast, and I know that a forecast centre would be a boon in this situation. What do we think it's going to do? As you can see, we've got a double dip on a bit of rain, and then a double dip on a bit of rain. Do we think it's going to stop, or do we think it's going to continue? I think we hold our nerve as far as nursing these tyres for a little while. So we're going to go on push on the tyres, but we'll keep the fuel burn at medium to see if we can then use that to get the optimum pit stop time. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Nick, we're going to stick out in he can just go neutral down the line there, and we'll see what we get out of him. But here's the grid, and it's Longo and Mush, the worst drivers and the worst cars in the championship, who are out on the front row, followed by Swans Plastic from Predator and Hong Lao. So that's Dragon Race Team and Predator on the front 2 rows of the grid. Then you've got Chris Shaw and Zhao Wu Yao, followed by Maiko Kitasato, Nicholas Wolfrath, Nick Hazel there on the 5th row next to Sarah Thomas. A challenge between those two that's been going on all season. Then you get Trolley Fodder and Sean Mendez, and then on the 7th row is Vanessa Silvera right next to Playmoto. Again, a constant rivalry, that one. Then you got Ruto and Hertz, followed by Kotso, Massella and Fenger Puppet on the penultimate row, and then Scott Price and championship leader Hans 00. Look to me, and I'm just going to double check that. Thank you. That absolutely everybody's going out on intermediates. They've all seen the forecast. They've all sucked in through their teeth and just gone, yeah, all right, stick us out on intermediates. Which is a shame, because that would have made for something quite exciting in the early stages of the race. But the race is going to be exciting anyway. And here we go. We're under starters orders. And we're away for the start of the Beijing Grand Prix. Hazel, as ever, driving like a lemon. As Vanessa locks up, she's off the track. Oh, well, that was quite exciting. And Vanessa Silveira is now in last place. Brilliant. Well, I couldn't have hoped for a better start to this race. And we're gonna stick with Vanessa to see if she can make up for that. But she certainly is not driving quickly at the current. In fact, she's driving really, really slowly by the looks of things. 3 seconds behind Scott Price, who's the next ahead of her. And we're just going to have to hope that she can pull this back in some fashion, because as it stands, that's awful. But if 00 can come from the back of the grid and win every race, I'm sure Vanessa Silveira has the ability to. Well, no, never mind. Well, there we go. She's got the track all to herself. Hazel's dropping places, but we knew that would likely be the case, and we'll pick up to standard commentary speed here. Right. Well, Silveira's caught up with the pack. Almost caught up with the pack, and that's not a bad place to start. Now, has she got the minerals to get past Scott Price and P. Ruto's there as well? Bit of a nudge there on Price. Just lets him know exactly what's going on there. And she's sticking with him, but as is so often the case at the start of one of these races, everybody is pretty nose to tail. Now then, the tyres here are just not in up to race speed, so I think we'll tell Nick to push a little more, see if he can't get his tyres to get up to be a little more grippy. Let's have a look at the forecast. Rain's going to ease off around lap 9, apparently. Okay, well, we can make that work. Both my drivers have got 10 laps of fuel at the moment. I'll tell them to put their foot down a little bit more aggressively as we get closer to pit stop time. But as you look across the entire field, just about everybody's tyres are wearing at a similar rate. Arguably, Hazel's are in better condition than almost everybody else because he's not trying very hard. Silveira's managed to take 19th. She won't hold it. There he goes. No, she's taken 19th. She's now got 18th as well. Back to 19th. But she's ahead of Ruto. That's a start. That's one place done so far. Just another 12 to go in order to land our sponsorship bonus there. Now, is she going to be able to close in? Hazel's dropping down the field very, very badly indeed. Oh no, Silveira's back to the bottom of the pack. That's just great. That is. So at the present time, it's really not looking like we're going to be able to hang on to the fifth place spot that we have in the championship, which is disappointing. Because that was quite a nice way to round out the season, but there we go. So we're now lap 6, and there is a P. Ruto bulldozer power sandwich happening. No, Ruto's gone through, and Vanessa's gone through as well. But Hazel will take it back because he doesn't give a monkey's. And then finally, Silveira's overtaken Hazel, who is already dropping back. Off the pace quite nicely, and that's excellent. Oh no, he's gone through. Look, well, that's good. Nothing more satisfying than seeing my two drivers battling each other right at the back of the pack. Yeah, I can think of nothing I'd rather watch. As Silveira now is distinctly off the pace. Silveira had quite a bright start, but blew it all on the first corner, and has since not recovered. Let's have another quick look at the forecast. Okay, so the forecast is that lap 8 the rain will stop. The water on the track will largely be gone by lap 10. So lap 9, lap 10 would probably be the time to come in. I think lap 10 is probably the better one because it's going to be a bit slippy out there for that initial period. So then coming out on I think we're going to go with soft rather than super soft as our first tyre change. Try and make those last, and then put a last-minute burn in on super soft tyres. The Silvera tries to get past Steve Mush and fails to do so. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, neither of my drivers are having a race at all today. They've just turned up to idly drive around the track as Silvera once again tries to get past Mush and does so finally. But he'll probably take her back at any of the next corners. This is decidedly disappointing as Silvera's tyres are now looking pretty hideous. We'll swap her, drop her back to neutral. We'll bring her in as soon as possible. Right, we're going to go out on soft tyres. We're going to fill her up with fuel. Now, those tyres aren't going to last the entire distance there, I don't think, but we want to have the choice anyway. How's the parts? I didn't do any part stripping. Oh, I've forgotten all about that. Never mind. So the risk is 75%. We might as well go fast then, as the tired pit crew really don't look capable of doing anything useful at all. 24% left in the life of Hazel's tyres. He's going to be losing a bit of speed. I want to bring him in after Hazel has come in. No, that's the same person, you fool. After Vanessa has come in, we'll bring Hazel in the following lap. Because spending an extra lap out on the track can have interesting consequences later on. So there we go. We'll give him his pit instructions now. Fuel options, fill her up. Part condition, should have stripped the parts. 86% chance of hosing it. All right, we'll go safe with this one and see if that's anything at all. Our pit crew is completely awful, and I think I may invest in better pit crew next season. Certainly, it's doing me no favours this season in the slightest. Right, so Silvera had an error in her pit stop, perhaps unsurprisingly, and she's the only driver out on dry tyres. Have I been incredibly bold here? I have been a little bold, but this is going to come into her favour as time goes on. So if she can hold position while the track is still wet, then you never know. Again, Hazel had a tyre dilemma mistake, heinous there. Mendez has also now gone out on the softer tyres, and again, this is down to him staying out just that little bit longer. Masilella and Kitasato have yet to come in. They will probably be doing so imminently. There we go. And they will undoubtedly go out on dry tyres. So right now it's Mendez, Hazel, Silvera who are out on dry tyres, and the question's going to be, will the track dry fast enough for that to make any kind of a difference at all? We're going to keep both drivers on a relatively relaxed strategy here to keep those tyres in the best condition possible. I'll push Hazel a little faster purely because he came in one lap later. Masilella's gone out on super soft. That's going to be interesting to see if he can capitalise on that. 00 is currently at the back of the pack. I don't know what's going on there, but surely he can close people down in the nearish future. Silvera is definitely off the pace, but the track is drying out all the time now, so maybe she can make some magic happen in this vitally important second stint. It's very hard to tell. We're going to switch to watching Hazel for a minute, actually, because he seems to be in amongst it in 17th with Finger Puppet. Go on, come on, Nick, put your foot down, man. Let's see some action. You've got better tyres. Well, look, I mean, look at the difference there between Puppet and Hazel on that straight, and that I think is probably going to be a demonstration of the car quality, because Puppet is contending this season for a respectable finish. Vanessa's tyres are a little bit chilly at present, but I do not want to wear them out too quickly. We've got 17 laps left to go, and I would like to only come in one more time, if at all possible. As some of the intermediate drivers are now coming in to get replacements onto dry, this is our big opportunity. Hazel's up into 13th. There's an awful lot of intermediate tyre users ahead of him, but nursing the tyres as we are doing currently is it may pay off as the race continues into its third phase. For those of you who are phase fans, we're currently in the second phase. But there is a long way to go, and being 40 plus seconds behind, you're going to need to get a tyre temperature back up again. All right, go for it, but try not to break them. And here comes Nicholas Hazel. He's closing down Finger Puppet, whose tyres now are completely inappropriate. And this is where we really need to capitalise. We'll see a lot of drivers now coming in to switch up onto dry tyres, and frankly, this is where we need to make hay. Otherwise, it's all for naught. As Hazel goes through into 11th, frankly, that wasn't so much an overtaking move. It was more just the fact that he went into the pits. But there you go. Hazel has just been blitzkrieged by Wolfrath, who really wants it. Who's on fresh rubber and just went absolutely belting through there. Hazel is not on the pace in the slightest. Hertz is going to come through any second as well. Vanessa is the next driver behind that. See, Mendez has crashed. Safety car, should I come into the pits? 19 of 32, which leaves 13 laps to go. Oh no, what a disaster. I don't know is the honest answer to that one. I mean, he's only got 40% left on his tyres. Vanessa's only got 40% left on her tyres. Coming into the pits now will be catastrophic. We will lose so many places on the track, and going out with fresh tyres in amongst people who have already got fresh tyres isn't actually going to be helpful. It really depends how fast they manage to get things done. So I'm going to bring Hazel into the pits. He's still going to need 2 stops. That's the thing. 13 laps. We've never had 13 laps of fuel. No, we'll ignore it. Should we sneak a pit stop in under the safety car? No, now is not the time. 1 to 2 laps later would have made all the difference. We've just got to hope. I mean, while we're under safety car, we're not going to be wearing the tyres too badly. An awful lot of drivers have come in for the pits now. I wonder if Masalella will go in, given that his soft tyres there are looking a little worse for wear. Several drivers have come in. I wonder if we've made the right call here. I'm going to say probably not. But we want 1 more pit stop. So if I can get 2 to 3 laps out of the situation that we've got going on here, then there is every bit. Yeah, there we go. Masarella's come in, and we'll get back out in 3rd place. Very shrewd move from Masalella. So my 2 drivers are the ones with the worst tyres. Mendez crashed there. Hong Lao's don't look great. P. Ruto's don't look great. But we have the most worn tyres. I want to come in for 1 more pit stop. And I want to do it in 1 to 2 laps time, and I don't know if we're going to hold out for that long. Ease off on your tyres there, Chief. Let's try and keep them alive. Same for you there, Vanessa. Try and keep your tyres alive. 1 to 2 laps, just not going to make it. And I think my most heinous error here has been in employing the same strategy with both drivers, rather than a divide and conquer kind of a route. But there we go. The entire pack is now closed up. There is a bit of a gap between Kitasato and Wolfrath, but that's closing in pretty quickly as well. The question is going to be, can Hazel do anything at all in the, I guess, 1.5 laps before I have to bring him in? because those tyres are not going to last very long. Got the fuel. Fuel looks great. Just don't have the tyres. It's going to be a tough one as soon as they get back underway again. Silvera's going to lose. I mean, Silvera's going to come into the pits first, and she's going to lose an awful lot of places as she comes into the pits while the pack's this closed up. But everybody else has got to come back into the pits as well. That's the thing. So there's every chance that we make some action out the other end of that. So there we go. I've told both drivers to absolutely put their foot down. Do not spare the horses. We have the fuel, we just don't have the tyres. And it's raining again. Oh, this could really play into our hands. Rain looks to be lasting. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's going to get very, very wet indeed. Intermediates probably aren't going to cut it. I think you're going to be looking at full-on wet tyres if you can last till lap 24. Oh my goodness me. What do we think? Do we come in now and go straight for wets? I think we probably do. I don't know. I mean, look how wet that track is. And it's going to dry off again. So you come in now on, oh dear, do we go for intermediates or do we go for wets? I think you have to go for wets. It's the wrong time to be coming in, that's the thing. And it's just, this is exciting stuff. Everybody else is going to be coming in as well. I think you want the right tyres for the conditions everybody's going to be facing. I would have been tempted to go for intermediates, but who knows? 13 laps of fuel, part condition is probably fine. Oh, hello. That front wing looks a little bit dubious. I wonder if we caused that in our first lap stupidity there. There we go. Well, we're just going to... This is really, really exciting. Panel came off the front wing. Oh, she's going to need to have that fixed then, isn't she? Well, there we go. Whoa. Tyre choice, wet. Fuel options, top it up. Pit strategy, rapido. Ease off on the fuel. Because otherwise you might... No, just go regular. You've got enough. You can ease off on your fuel as well. There you go. Silvera comes into the pits. Well, who knows, frankly. Right, Hazel's coming into the pits. We'll definitely put him out on wets. We'll top it up on fuel. Park condition all looks fine. Pit strategy, fast. What the heck? If we're going to have an error, we might as well be trying to go fast at the same time. And there's the front wing repair. Vanessa's going to come out in last, I suspect. Mistake on the repair. Perfect. She's out on wet tyres, but then somehow so is everybody else. Well, that's that then. That did not pay off for us even remotely. Now, Hazel has a chance to get in and out ahead of Hong Lao, who is the next driver. Only just the very barest of chances. There's an awful lot of repairs going on in the pits at the moment. There we go. Mistake on the front left. Mistake on the rear right. Well, that's just brilliant. Put in more fuel than we need, realistically, there. But so be it. Right. The only strategy that really matters. 2 mistakes. My goodness me. All of those of you who have been saying that I should be paying more attention to my pit crew all season were bang on the money there. Now everybody's out on wets, and we're not going to do very well at all as a result of that. It's simply going to come down to hoping that somebody else has some kind of disaster. Let's have a look at the water on the track. It's going to be wet throughout the rest, and the safety car's out. Steve Mush there crashed. Well, that's something, I suppose. Safety car's back out. Well, this isn't going to help us in one way or the other. This is going to get us quite close to the end of the race, at which point I think the only thing I can do is really put my foot down with both drivers and see if it can get us anything. We'll have tyre condition and fuel to do that. It's purely going to come down to, are either of my drivers capable of overtaking anybody at all? History points to not so much, no. Well, it's certainly an eventful final race of the season, but it has not gone the way that we'd hoped. Vanessa starting brightly, but ending up taking an extremely wide first corner as she overcooked it. But this race is not yet done. There's still a little bit left to run, but I fail to see how we can get a result under these conditions. The safety car is not well. I mean, if in fact the safety car is probably having a benefit to our chances, but honestly, it's just not looking great. With 5 laps to go, the safety car's heading into the garage. We're gonna prep for Hazel attack mode here, and hope that we can get something out of it. There we go. We'll put him in attack mode immediately. We'll put Vanessa in attack mode as well. Although her tyre temperature is running a little warm there. The track's going to stay wet. It's just a question of what happens when we get back up to race speed. Does Hazel have what it takes to get past Sarah Thomas? They started next to each other on the grid. This is a rivalry that's been running all season long. This is Hazel's chance for a spot of vengeance. And here we go. Could be happening any time now. Safety car there is off the grid, and they're back underway again. Let's go, let's go. Silvera is right up the tailpipe of Wu Yao, but can't do anything about it. Hazel is absolutely hammering it to try and make a difference into 13th, ideally. His tyres are very, very warm, so we'll ease off there. Vanessa's tyres equally are very, very, very warm. That's 3 verys there, as she drops to 18th. Brilliant. Back up to 17th. Down into 18th, 17th, 18th. Wolfrath has crashed. Oh, dearie me. So there you go. That's the 3rd crash. Can you check the engine readout? You've got the good engine, Silvero. What's your problem? Oh, yeah, that engine does not look good at all. Well, no, she's going to ride it till it breaks, frankly. She's going to be no worse off coming into the pits than staying out. She'll get the points no matter what. In fact, both my drivers now are awful. This is absolutely terrible. Arguably the worst performance we've had all season long, and it's the final race of the season. The team demoralised after being caught cheating in the last race. We've done enough to get us through the season, and we've certainly done enough to attract some primo sponsors. Running into our 4th year in command, but this has not been a positive outcome, and we're really going to have to take a long, hard look at Bulldozer Power's future to see how we can possibly turn this around. Can we blame the car? Yes. Can we blame the drivers? Yes. Can we blame the strategy? Absolutely not. It's flawless every week, without doubt. So it comes down to a poor car with poor drivers, and poor luck, along with poor weather, but excellent strategy. And when it comes down to it, the excellent strategy just was not quite enough. Play Moto won the flipping race. Gracious. With Scott Price in 2nd, Hans Doublezero in 5th. Well, there you go. That could lead to a closer finish overall than we expected, but I had not expected to see Play Moto come out in 1st place. My goodness me! But that was a race that was all over the shop. There was disaster and hijinks and all sorts, and Bulldozer Power really stank the place up. Let's have a look at the overall strategy that people have employed. Largely, we were on the money there. We came in maybe a little early for our softer tyres, but we made them work. We could have, if we had managed one more lap before switching over there, then we would have gone on to wets at exactly the right time. But if you look at the Bulldozer Power, Moto came in 4 times. 4 times it came in. And that's the sign of a pit crew who are actually any good. which ours evidently aren't. Vanessa there deciding that she does want a better car at the start of next season, so she came out ahead of Hazel. But my goodness me, what a terrible situation. So scrutineering, the only thing to make this weekend even better would be for us to get busted for our other bit of suspension, but we got away with it. And there we go. Finishing outside the sponsor objective, Scott Price got done for having an illegal part. Oh, well, that's his hopes of closing in on Hans 00. That's those completely and utterly shot. 3 crashes. It's great. Love to see 3 crashes. Also, I quite enjoyed seeing Silvera run wide there. You don't see enough driver error for my taste. But we got a taste of that this weekend, and that was terrific as well. Wolfrath also got demoted for having an illegal part, as did Steve Mush. Gracious me. 2 parts. Steve Mush had 2 illegal parts. Well, now, there's a thing. So Vanessa drops to 9th overall, which is a bit of a shame. But there it is with Hazel Wolfrath, who's he, in 14th. And team-wise, that drops us to 7th. Oh, come on. We had 6th in the bag, surely. Oh, well, we dropped 2 places in the last race, and that's just lousy. It's still good enough to get us what we needed this season. Here we go. So Emily DeFruscio, just thinking about Race Dragon China team makes me angry. No class at all. Good. Lyle Kezios, Bulldozer Power suck. I know they did well today. We didn't, but I don't care. They suck, lol. Good. Evening Herald, the pressure must be mounting on Bulldozer Power Team Principal Colonel failure after that. Not good. And then an angry one from Gabrielle Lobianco. At Bulldozer Power, I spend my money on your stupid hats and shirts, and this is the best you've got? WTF! And 3 exclamation marks. Gabrielle really means... Oh, it's Gabriel. Beg your pardon, not Gabrielle. He's got a bit of girl's hair going on, though. Well, there you go. The fans there summarising what has been a heinous race adventure there, rounding out the season for Bulldozer Power in an ignominious fashion. And the fans are speaking loud and clear, saying that they're just not going to stand for this. And now then, I'm going to have to go and take a long, hard look at the situation to debate whether or not Bulldozer Power will return and make a challenge to something good there at all. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. It was an exciting race, despite the fact that we stunk the place up. I'm excited to see what happens next. Throw a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on whatever enthrallment I happen to fling in your direction next. I've been Colonel Failure. Thanks for watching. Cheerio!